Hello, my wonderful people. How are we all doing today? Welcome to another episode of Cook with Kate. And happy Thirsty Thursday. I'm just still getting a little bit of things set up, so just hold tight a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. The menu is posted there on the title, so I hope you're all stoked about the stuff that we're gonna make today. Just gonna grab my veg and stuff. Dude, you've been waiting for me. I love it. Look what I just pulled out. Aw, yeah. How's your day going so far? Whip them out. Woohoo! We're getting a little cray today. I have my tools out. Watch out. Smashing pork. It's gonna be fun. I was just picking some herbage from outside. Kush. Let's prep our knife up. I put on a playlist off YouTube. It's called Audio Library, and like it's all the copyright-free music, so that I never have problems with them muting my sound, because that's super annoying. Is it okay? Do you like it? Perfect. I know. I still have to set that up. I'll do some research tonight. How about that? So, I'm gonna get started. I feel like I'm pretty much ready to go. And I'm just gonna go through whatever we're gonna be doing today. I always like to start my day like that so we know what we're getting ourselves into. So I'm actually gonna do a brined pork schnitzel today. So a little bit different than the traditional one. And then for our Thirsty Thursday thing, I'm gonna be using some white wine. That's our alcohol going into our meal. And then I'm just gonna make some roasted rosemary mushrooms and crispy chili or sriracha broccoli. Should be okay. A well-balanced meal. I didn't do any starches today just because the pork is like breaded and fried. Try and stay a little bit healthy even though it's not at all. So there's a ton of different brine recipes out there. I don't know if you guys have ever looked. We should totally do Thick Thursday. That'd be fun. And I'm gonna actually use pickle juice as the brine today. I know it sounds really weird, but a lot of places use that, especially with like a fried chicken sandwich. I've done it before and it's really good. So that's gonna be my different little version. Like most people don't think about using the pickle juice other than like for pickles, right? But it's really underrated considering how well balanced the brine actually is. Like it has your salt, vinegar, and water, which is all you really need. Maybe the only thing, yeah, pickles, +1 right there. The only thing that the brine might need is a little bit of sweetness. But there are other pickles out there than just dill and garlic. So you could also do like a Cornichon or gherkin brine, which is also sweet. And then we have a brand called Bix, and they're called Yum Yums, and they're also sweet pickle. So if you can get your hand on a jar of those, that'd be really good to mix in with the dill pickle brine. And some people make spicy pickles, which are really good. That'd be good to make like a spicy fried chicken with. So today I'm gonna be mixing a kosher dill pickle brine with some of the Yum Yum brine that I have in the fridge. I can't say that without laughing. And we're gonna brine the pork for at least 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours. And that should get all the flavor that we need into it. We don't wanna make it too salty. And before we start, I'll go through the ingredients for all of us, just in case you're following along. So for the schnitzel, you'll need pork chops or pork shoulder steaks. Something maybe about a 1/2 inch thick, not too thick because we're gonna pound it out. Why? Am I ready for this though? And today I'm actually using, I don't know, why was the pig named Brian? Because he likes to be brined. Brine. B-R-I-N-E. So I have pork shoulder that I sliced off of a full one, really thin. And we can pound that out today. But most people usually use like a pork loin chop, which is good too. It just doesn't have a lot of fat, which means it'll have a lot less flavor when you fry it up. But if you're worried about being healthy, I don't think that you should even be making this, so don't even worry about all that fat. Next thing we'll need is to make our brine, so pickle juice of your choice. And then we'll be setting up the breading station later on. So there's 3 steps to the process always, and they're all worth it. I know it takes a little bit, but you have to do it the right way. Yeah. And on Mondays, we kill animals. So sad. So any breading station, you're always gonna need flour, breadcrumbs, and an egg wash. So keep that in mind for later, and you'll wanna keep them all in separate dishes as well. For the cream sauce today, we'll need half an onion, woohoo, and a couple cloves of garlic, a couple sprigs of fresh thyme, a couple capers. I think we should add something a little bit briny to the sauce so it isn't as rich. And then obviously our cup of white wine and some cream. And for our side dishes, I chose really simple ones today. The rosemary roasted mushrooms and the crispy chili broccoli. So I have about 3 cups of cremini mushrooms here. They're pretty big. I mean, you can use as many or as little as you want, or don't do any at all if you hate mushrooms. And quite a bit of broccoli. I'm gonna do probably about 10 cups, but I want leftovers. And broccoli also shrinks quite a bit when you roast it in the oven. And then we'll need a sprig of rosemary for our mushrooms. We don't want too much here. And I'm actually going to toss the broccoli in some sriracha, as well as some olive oil, salt and pepper, and maybe a little bit of sugar to get some caramelization on it. So onto the brining of the pork. First thing we have to do is grab our container that we're gonna be brining the pork in. So I think I'm just gonna do it in a Ziploc bag. That'll be the easiest, and then you don't really have to worry about completely submerging the pork in pickle juice in a container. So you don't have to use as much. So I'm just gonna reuse the bag that I already have the pork in. That's cool. And next thing we have to do is pound out the pork. This is the fun part. I have a little meat tenderizer here that I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna start with the bigger grooves first and then switch it over to the small one once we get it a little bit thinner. Pound the pork, pound the pork. But if you don't have one of these little mallets, you can use a rolling pin or a pan too. So we'll also need a Ziploc for when we're gonna flatten out our pork. And I don't know if you were watching the other day when I did the pitas, but I'm gonna do the Ziploc the same way. So I'm gonna cut the seams on the side so I can open it up. You could also use plastic wrap or parchment paper or wax paper as well, but I'm gonna do this. This will keep your pork from flying everywhere. It might get a little bit messy. Boop. There we go. And then we're just gonna put the pork fillets or steaks in between the Ziploc and then cover it up, and then we're gonna pound it out. Big ass bag. It's just a like large Ziploc. I don't know. Just looks like it's huge now. So I think I'm gonna turn the mic off, guys, because it's gonna get pretty loud in here. But feel free to still talk. I can stop and turn it on as we go. These are kind of like really random pieces. Okay, we'll see. You just want to hear the spanking of the meat, don't you? Ready? That's the situation. We're gonna do this until it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. So you want it pretty thin. It's looking pretty good. This is where you take out all of your frustration of me not using onions in the last few dishes. So now I'm just gonna put that back in the bag and do another one. Super important to get it pretty even everywhere, just so it can cook evenly later on. Holy, this one is really thick. Tell me, do you have like a protein out for it yet, or nothing like that, nothing ready at all? Are you going to the grocery store? Well, one thing that I usually always made after work, after like coming home and cooking for everyone else all day, I love to make breakfast for dinner. Because it takes like, what, 2 minutes to fry up an egg. I usually just had like toast with it and some fresh tomatoes and cucumber and maybe a little bit of cheese. Like that was always my go-to. Okay, that one is good enough. It's telling me stop. I mean, you can make an egg sandwich. That'd be good too. But I usually just make my yolks nice and runny and then dip the toast in. Or make like a breakfast wrap. If you have any wraps laying around, those defrost pretty quickly out of the freezer. Another quick thing to cook is like sausage. Especially if you take it out of the casing and fry it like a ground beef or something. That looks good. Okay, one more. Then the racket is done. All of those little fat pieces though are gonna fry up so nice. Yeah, I don't like to eat pork a ton, but it is cheap, I have to say that. Yeah. I mean, if you can get your hand on really good pork that's been raised properly, that's definitely the way to go. You're not gonna get that like weird porky taste when you cook it. I think probably the best things to eat made out of pork are like all of the cured meats and stuff. Like prosciutto and really good cured sausages. Posh is like, what the frick are you doing? Okay, that one looks good. I think that's as thin as I'm gonna get them. I want to just go over this little end piece here. It's really thick still, and that's bugging me. I mean, another really quick and easy thing to make, if you have ground turkey burgers are really good. Or meatballs. I have to get upset. Okay, we're good. So that worked really well because our area is still clean, which is what I wanted. Posh is gonna check it out. The inspector. What is your favorite thing to eat usually? I need to know what you like. Now we're gonna cover the pork with the pickle brine. So I'm gonna get that out. Here's my two kinds. Minced beef. Well, that's good that you don't hate anything. Yum yums. I'm not really gonna measure this. I'm just gonna pour out the brine to cover the pork. So I'm gonna start with the more salty one first, and then just top it up with the sweet one. And like I said, this is super good to do with fried chicken as well. I'm not ready for the pickle juice yet. Isn't there like a shot with pickle juice with it? I forget what it's called. Or yeah, the pickleback. Isn't it like... Dick's Yum Yum. I'm just gonna mix this up. And then that can go chill in its bath in the fridge for like an hour or so. Until we're ready to fry it up later. And that's gonna tenderize the meat as well. No, it says Bix, but that would be so hilarious. Chillin'. Pickled onions would be really good too. And if you have the really purple ones, it'd probably turn the pork like a really nice color. I don't know. Don't know. Okay. Hardest task. Done. So second thing we're gonna do is prep all of our veggies. Both of them are gonna benefit from sitting in their seasoning for a little while. Like mushrooms really soak up a lot of flavor. You'll notice that right away. And then also like the little broccoli florets tend to soak up a lot of flavor as well. So we're just gonna let those marinate for a bit before we cook them. So mushrooms, I'm gonna leave them whole for roasting, just so that they can cook at the same rate as the broccoli. And both of those will only take about 15 minutes. So it won't take very long at all. But the oven will be pretty hot, like 425. So just go through your mushrooms, make sure there's no poop on them. I don't know if you guys know this, but poop or mushrooms are grown in poop. Yeah. I used to call it my little Timbit. Now it's more like an apple fritter, let's just be honest. So I'm gonna take out 2 sheet pans here. One for the broccoli and one for the mushrooms. And just line them with some parchment. Oh man. What is up, sir? And you'll just want to grab a bowl to season the mushrooms in. This one should do. Yeah, smashing the meat. You missed it, sucker. Schnitz. will be our big bowl for the broccoli. Okay, so mush. I'm just gonna take the rosemary off of the stem and chop it up pretty fine. We don't want any like really big chunks of rosemary because it's such a strong herb. You don't want to like bite down and just taste rosemary. It's a little overwhelming. How you doing today, Steph? Hi. Yeah, it crawled up to the top of my head. I don't know what happened. I just woke up like this. Exactly. That's Mamacita drinks wine. She just got home from work. So now some olive oil. Brine Bob's Betty. You're wild. Get in on this seasoning action. You'll want quite a bit of olive oil for these. You'll see how much they soak up. Because mushrooms tend to dry out really fast. So just make sure they're fully coated. Yeah, you missed Betty. Probably a good teaspoon and a half of salt. And some pepper. Gonna roll those around. No, we're having mushrooms with oil. See how dark they already went though from absorbing the oil? They look happy. Okay, that looks good. Tosh says hello. And it's almost dinner time for her.
Okay, 20 minutes.
And then just get all the extra oil and herbs that are left in the bowl out. And roll them around with the rest of the mushrooms. And depending on the size of your mushrooms, I'm gonna flip all of these ones the right way up. They'll just get a better brown color on them in the oven. Perfect. You want to spread them out as much as possible too, just because mushrooms have so much moisture in them. Next, we'll do the brock. That was a good one. Shrooms. just gonna pour out a bunch of broccoli because it's in weird sizes, so might have to cut some smaller. Like, holy, that's huge. Okay, I think that's enough. We're roasting up the broccoli, not rolling up the broccoli. So this is a really good size to pick for your broccoli. It's just bite size, and then it's gonna shrink as well when you roast it. So whatever ones are around that size, just pick them out and put them into the bowl. Anything smaller is okay too. Oh, this little piece right here, that's a cush piece. Ready? Pro. She's like, well, yes, I will have an appetizer before my dinner. Just cut off some of the end pieces for Posh. Those are her favorite. And then the other florets, just cut down the stem until the fluffy part, I guess, or the floret part, and then tear it away. And then you won't get like all of these little pieces. It's the same way that I prepped the cauliflower the other day too. Because all those pieces are just gonna burn in the oven. It's true. It's like pretty similar shape. Like this one. It's like exactly the same. Krish is waiting. Ready? I like to think of it more as a donut than a piece of broccoli. A little bit more appealing. We'll just toss that in there anyways. I'm sure it'll crisp up really nice. Okay, last piece, guys. Boom. Teamwork. Then I'm gonna get some sriracha out, and then I'll pour the olive oil on after. I know. I sent a message to like all of my family today and was like, yo, I'm relying on you guys to give me that follow. You guys are pulling me through though. You've been with me like almost every day. It's great. So you can make this as spicy or not as you want. But the sriracha gives it like a really nice crust on the outside. We beholden. Then let's add some salt. So same amount as the mushrooms. And then for a little bit of sweetness, I think I'm gonna sprinkle some brown sugar on. That way it'll be like spicy and sweet. You don't need much though. Say like max a tablespoon and a half. It's probably gonna make like a really nice caramel when it mixes with the olive oil. If you guys can imagine that, I don't know. Toss it up. Smells super good already. Okay, that looks coated well. Hello, Ubin. So today we are making some pork schnitzel, which I just pounded out earlier. And then so far I've just prepped my rosemary mushrooms and then my chili crispy broccoli. And then we'll be working on a white wine cream sauce in a little bit. So spread that all out nicely on the pan. These are the thickest veggies. Do you see the size of those mushrooms? That's where I get all of my inspiration from. Make sure it's thick. Well, you see, I might just be able to like whip this onion right out of my bun. But we're only gonna use half of it. Yeah, boom. Thank you for the follow, sir. No, no +2. 0.5. You guys are crazy, but I love it. Thanks for keeping me company. And Brune. Thank you. 2 more followers closer. Woohoo! Now we only need 20 left. So this is actually a pretty easy dinner today, guys. Like, other than the pork brining first, you could easily have this done in probably 45 minutes to an hour. But I want to still stream a little bit longer with you guys. So remember, I always do my little research about what I'm cooking in the day. So I can go through some of that stuff with you guys now. I don't think it's boring. Like, I always find really interesting stuff. So just bear with me. We're gonna do some schnitzel stuffs. Yeah, I wonder who it is. I wonder. So the dish actually originated in Austria. That's like the original schnitzel. I know, everyone probably thinks it's German, but it's not. Although the term like Wiener Schnitzel only applies to the veal version, and those are served in Austria and Germany. So they have taken that name and that is theirs. And typically they're served with a slice of lemon, so I'll slice them up later, and potato salad or like simple parsley butter potatoes. Nothing really fancy. And then there's also a South American version known as Milanesa. So exactly the same. No, it's not. Yeah, they're close, but they're separate now. And then the Italian version is called Milanese. So you can tell that the Italians brought the Milanese to South America, which is why their names are super similar. And that was in the 1860s, so way back when. We be fighting always. And then I don't know if you guys have ever gone for Japanese food, but they do a version called tonkatsu or chicken katsu. And that's flattened out pork loin or chicken that's breaded with the panko crumbs, so a little bit bigger crumbs, and it's fried and served on rice. And then there's the French, and they have their own version called escalope. I don't know why they're all called different when it's literally the same thing, but anyways, who's even gonna remember those names? And then I'm sure everyone has heard of the really popular version called chicken parm. Obviously, it's not a traditional schnitzel, but it's definitely one of my faves. Because who doesn't love anything baked with tomato sauce and cheese? It's so fucking good. Like, that's my favorite one. Yeah, we can do maybe a little tour. And guess what? My most memorable schnitzel was actually eaten in London. So shout out to Twin Vaders at a place called Boopshees. Oh, you'll get the brow furrow every day. So Boopshees is a restaurant that's specialized in schnitzel and spritz. You guys know the cocktail that has Aperol, Prosecco, and soda water. Really good. It's like one of my favorite things to drink before I go out to eat. And then I went there in 2014 when I did a European tour for the summer. Furrow. What? What are you talking about? Aperol? Aperol spritz? Oh, furrow means me going like that. Or like this. And I don't even remember like how I found that restaurant when I was traveling around, but I'm pretty sure I was just sightseeing and was like, oh, I saw the schnitzel in the window and I was like, I gotta eat that. Yeah, cheese is a very serious thing, so there's probably quite a few brow furrows when I talk about it. It's like cheese. But nonetheless, I made a reservation for myself at that restaurant. I was by myself. I'm not scared to go out to eat alone. And I got one of their blood orange spritzes, which was really, really good. And obviously some schnitzel. I think the best part was that they had a ton of things that you could add on to the top. Like they had fried duck eggs or hen eggs. What else? Capers. Like there's just a bunch of different options, which I never even knew before. Yeah. +1. So I got the hen egg and capers on mine. And then they're also doing side dishes of spatzel and like mac and cheese. So I don't know if you guys know what spatzel is. Super good. I just made it 2 Sundays ago. I have a spatula press here because Amdog or chili balls berry is German. Fun fact. And then they also put some speck that was crispy on top of the mac and cheese. Like, that was the most rich thing ever. And obviously I definitely underestimated the portions because the schnitzel came out, it was like this big on the plate. I was like, holy fuck. But honestly, I ate it all and it was so good. And then I just had to waddle home after. I wasn't wasting any of that stuff. But you guys, I looked up Boopshies today and it's actually closed now. I don't know what happened. So I'm pretty happy that I got to eat there while it was still open. Because it was really popular when I was there. I can't believe that was 4 years ago. Yeah. I still haven't been there yet. I really need to go. I think if I go to Germany though, I probably would not come back. One of their bakeries would like suck me in. And then I just live there forever. So, story time is over, guys. What do you want a quick tour of while we're waiting? Or I can just go on to prepping our breading station. Maybe I can tour the snack drawer. Do you guys get any... No, I can't reach out to the grill. It's too far. Because then I have to take down like all of that stuff off the cabinet and then put it back up. You mean this grill? She's here. Baby grill. Have you guys seen this shit? Apple pie Oreos. Kate, so you can scope my house out and then come kidnap Kush. Ready?
Betty tour.
Oh wait. This is the house. That's the office. And that's all the stuff. Oh, can you see the grill? You can see the grill. All the weapons are behind me. Earthquake, not another one. Burp. I got knives, boys. Just wait. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love living here. It's very like West Coast, like everything's blue and green. Look at this. You think you have weapons? I don't mess with that knife. That's for like butchering full pieces of beef and pork. And then this one is really cool. I'll just show you guys my weapons. Yeah, don't ever come here. We actually had to get that knife to like bring to culinary school because we took a little butchering course. I still remember the day that we did the little baby lamb. I almost passed out. It was weird. Okay. So, let's prep some breadcrumbs because I have to grind some up, I think. I don't have enough. So I have the panko ones here, which are the Japanese ones. I only have maybe like a cup and a half of those. And then I have this like cornflake version that I found too, which will make it really nice and crispy. And then I'm gonna bump it up with some of the cornflakes I have back here. And I'm just gonna grind them up. I think that'll work out really well and the pork will turn out nice and crispy. So, what am I gonna put these in? Try and find like 3 bigger containers to do your breading station in. I got this guy too. Yeah. What's wrong with cornflakes? I know, hey, it's just like, oh, what can we do with this? We're just gonna sell it. Just sweep it off the floor. That'd be bad. You want about like half a cup of crumbs per pork chop. That's just me estimating. Just a sec, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, back. Hi, Marianne. How are you? Welcome to the show. We're making schnitzel today. Let's check out these cornflake crumbs. They're actually pretty fine. So that'll mix with the panko well. I'm not using any regular breadcrumbs today at all. So I don't think that's enough. But yeah, all right. Let's grab some of these. And then I can just use the blender to blend them up. And I actually have like a special dry container for the Vitamix, which I am gonna use. Someone left peppercorns in there for me. Somebody. Let's do like 2 cups worth at a time. And then just start on low. That looks good. Just blend it to be the same size as the panko crumbs because those are pretty big. I'm short. Why, is it sideways? And then we're just gonna mix all that stuff up so that the panko and cornflakes are evenly mixed. There's my little station. I'm just gonna mix this with my hands. Have you guys ever made cornflake chicken? $1.5 meters. That looks good. No. There's a mascot? Okay. So the first step to the breading station is actually seasoned flour. So you just need to add a little bit of salt and pepper to the flour. I didn't know there was a mascot. Usually people just bake it in the oven. So you don't need a ton of flour here, just enough to coat the pork. Probably, let's say, a cup only. If there's no cup, well then you're screwed. You just pour that right out of the bag and hope for the best. Maybe a little more. The wine glasses have been taken out. You know what that means. So since we did our pork and pickle brine, that's already pretty salty, hey? So I'm not gonna put a ton of salt into this flour because I don't want to make the pork taste way too salty. There's no going back from that. Just put a little bit of pepper. You don't need lots. Give that shake. We're good. Okay, next. So we need to make an egg wash with eggs and milk. And I think I'm gonna do 3 eggs. Oh, something I forgot to tell you. So I had some leftover ramen yesterday, and I went to eat it for lunch today, and I opened this thing and it was like completely solid. So that's how you know you made a good ramen, is when the broth is like pure jelly the next day. So I was pretty proud of myself. Yeah, BC has really nice orange eggs. So I'm just gonna whisk those up first by themselves so we don't have any... Oh, you jam it in the microwave. I don't want any of the egg white lumps in there. So whisk those up really good. Nope, we're not doing it. Yeah, you guys do have really good eggs. That's because you go to the farm though. That can go in. And then we can add our milk. We don't want to make it too liquidy. So I'll try and show you guys the perfect texture. You just need a little bit more milk than you have eggs. And then it should stir together to make like a somewhat viscous mixture. Nothing too runny, but you can still see your egg strands in it, so that's perfect. So that's good. Yeah, Petawawa is in Ontario. And that's our wonderful breading station. Done and done. Okay. It was scary. Just gonna break this box down. Okay, so I just ripped through all of that prep. Like, other than the pork chilling and brining, I could start cooking all of my stuff. Let's give it a sniff though. I want to see where we're at. It's already changed color a little bit. It's turned lighter. Which means it's breaking down the pork fibers. And honestly, it doesn't even smell like pickles, really. It just smells like the pork is brined with spices and stuff. Yeah. So that actually looks really good already, guys. I don't know if you can see that. but it's turning like a little bit lighter pink. And you know what? I can just leave that out now because we're gonna be working with it in a little bit. So that can come up to room temp. That's all good. And then while we wait, we can start doing the prep for our cream sauce.
Go to the doctors.
So we're gonna take half of this onion here and dice it as small as we can. Yeah, pickle brine. It's trending. Tell your friends. Show you guys how to slice. Because I know you love it. The moment we've all been waiting for. Did you seriously just make another account so I could have another follow? That's hilarious. Small dice. And I'm crying already. Ah. Whenever you're making sauces, you always want to cut your onion or shallot or whatever aromatics quite small. You don't want any big pieces in it. I'm just going to turn that over and slice it this way. I'm already crying. It's so emotional. And then we can just toss that onion butt away. It's like the hard core on the end of the onion. It doesn't really soften up when it's cooked. That can just be put into a bowl. Yeah, I could. It's okay though. I'm not crying that bad. Butt burglar and flexerd. My people, how are you guys doing today? It's just getting a little bit emotional from the onion. But other than that, we're all chilling. Only half an onion is going in the sauce. Nothing crazy. So next thing I'm gonna prep for the sauce is, let's do 2 cloves of garlic. And then I just picked some thyme from the garden. I can just leave those sprigs whole and then pick them out after when the sauce is almost done. If you want though, you can take it off of the stem and chop it fine. It's up to you. And I'm just gonna mince the garlic into a separate bowl. We're not gonna fry it at the same time. as the onions. I am not selling cornflakes, but we are using it to make our pork schnitzel today. Super good. Hey, foofs. You know what? We just got our wine glasses down too. I'm sure we'll be cracking it open in a little bit. Going with the white wine today. And then I can measure out the cream and the wine for the sauce right now as well. Do I need anything else in here? Oh, and I'm gonna put some briny capers in. So I can measure those out into the bowl with the garlic and the thyme. I had capers on the schnitzel in London, and I really liked how it cut the richness of the pork. So I'm gonna put that in my sauce today. It's my little different variation. Wine should I use for the sauce?
The one that just has a little bit.
Okay,
How much do you need?
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, let's drink the one, the green one.
Let's drink. So I'm gonna use up this Chardonnay in our sauce today. It's a Australian wine. Australia has really come a long way with their wines, I have to say. I've had a couple lately, and they've all been good. And this one is actually from 2016. So I'm just trying to read what kind of key flavors we're gonna get in here. But it's not really saying. But you definitely don't want to use too sweet of a wine for the sauce.
That's pretty sweet.
What?
That is pretty sweet.
Are there cornflake ads popping up? I don't know what's going on right now. Okay, so here's our little bowl of our capers, garlic, and thyme. And then our half onion is just diced really fine. Okay. And then I have a little bit of cream here. You don't need a lot for this. I'm just gonna measure out to see how much I actually have. So I know that'll help you guys. I estimated 1.5 cups. So I have 1.25 cups. Boom. That should be good enough. Use this one instead?
Yeah, it will be a sweet.
Okay. Well, I don't think it really matters. Okay. I don't want to open another bottle.
Okay. Get cheers in there.
Oh, the wine has been poured. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Now is the time to grab some sauce if you're a little thirsty on this Thursday. No word from those guys yet?
I heard like 5-ish, but that is to be confirmed.
Okay, so sauce is all portioned out. I can start making it, but I'm just gonna do it on low. You don't want to reduce it too fast. Prost. I know, the cornflakes are here. What's up? I just blended some up in the Vitamix, and then we're gonna crust our schnitzel with that and panko. I'm scared. You guys keep saying look behind me. What's there? I know, sad. But kudos to those that are on a diet. 'Cause it's always, alcohol is always one of the hardest things to give up.
Not doing it.
Mamacita says, not doing it. Okay, sauce time. I'm gonna grab my little saucepan out. Move those Shroooms over. You could also make this sauce like a couple of days ahead of time and just let it chill out in the fridge until you need it. And that's exactly what Dog says, Flexard. You guys are very similar. It's true, Foof. Repping the cornflakes today. What is going on here? Okay, there we go. So, medium-low heat to start your sauce off. And this is optional, but I'm gonna do mine with a butter base. And you can use oil or whatever you want. Coconut oil might work too. It'll give it a little bit different flavor. But we're gonna keep it rich and keep our dairy on point today and use some butter, because why not? We got lots of veggies to roast, so we'll be okay. Do 2 tablespoons of butter. And then our trusty wooden spoon. Hello to everyone watching. Thanks for stopping in. We're gonna be making our schnitzel pretty soon here. Everything should be done within the next half an hour, 45 minutes, I would say. So to start with the sauce, we're gonna cook the onions until they're a little bit brown, but not a really dark golden brown. Monocle! And then after that, we're just gonna toss in the garlic, thyme, and capers, give that a little stir. And won't cook that too long because the garlic will burn quite fast. Just the sauce. We're getting sousy. Yeah. That is awesome. So butter is nicely melted. Just gonna add the onions, give it a little stir to get them coated. And then one thing I wanted to ask, why do you drink on stream? It's Thirsty Thursday, and this is usually the only day that I drink on stream. And I'm just sharing a glass of wine with my audience over here, aka Mama Drinks Wine. And I guess I could also say that it's my Friday because I usually take Fridays and Saturdays off. So it's the start of my weekends. Brian Bob's Betty. Holy you guys, I love it. But I did want to ask, is it really laggy again today? Like the audio to video, or is it better? I was fooling around with a couple settings on OBS today. So I changed the bit rate, but kept it at 1080. But I could also turn like everything back down to 720, but I don't want to do that if I don't have to. So I can't help that. It's actually the internet service that we have out here. Yay, island internet. Okay, I'll change the settings for Sunday then, and hopefully it's a lot better. And Sunday is probably, yeah, 4K. I don't even want to know how much those are. Sunday is going to be the greatest stream ever. We're making pizza. Bye, Butt Burglar. Good seeing you again. Have a great night. And I'm gonna make the pizza dough on Saturday so it can proof in the fridge for like 24 hours. It's gonna be a Roman style of dough. So I'm gonna do it on like the rectangular sheet pans. We can do a thick Thursday. I already have it planned out, so let's see. Oh no, you're gonna hate me. We're doing more pork. I can always change that though. And I was gonna do herbed polenta and then some Swiss chard with it and some roasted peppers. But I might change that up. What do you guys want to do for Thick Thursday? Right? One thing I will say when you're making a sauce with butter is your onions will tend to brown a lot faster, so watch out for that. Just make sure you keep stirring them really well. But butter is always the best thing. If you want a nice golden color on it, put the butter in. And that, what? You guys want to make a cake? That could be fun. What kind of cake? Hey! Yeah, I was just a pastry chef for the last 3 years at my last job. guess what? So Greenbox actually taught me how to make a Black Forest cake, and I still have the bottle of Kirsch from Germany to use with it. So that can be an option, guys. In honor of Steph. Thick Thursday. It is actually not hard to do. It's really fun to make. And I think chocolate and cherry is like one of my favorite dessert combos. See, she's on it. She's like, yeah, you're making the cake. I can't turn back now. And how much Kirsch? All of it. Okay, onion is almost ready for us to throw the garlic in. If you want a really nice and white sauce, don't brown the onion at all. Yeah, you guys are good. You keep me company. And keep me on my toes. But you do listen well, I have to say that. That's not racist. It's going in. Give that a little stir. Smells good. Kind of just push down on the thyme sprigs to bruise them a little bit. That'll pull a lot more flavor out of them since we didn't cut them out at all. Pardon me. Okay, here's the best part. Cracking the bottle. There's about a cup of wine in here. You can use more or less, and we're gonna reduce this by at least half. Just give your pan a really nice stir to get all of that delicious stuff off the bottom. And we're not gonna add the cream yet. We're just gonna let that reduce. It will probably take 5 minutes, I think. Was that them messaging you? No? What is thick? Yeah.
I know that's a trick question.
Did you hear her? She said it's a trick question. She's too smart for you guys. So I'm just grabbing a big sheet pan out. They're waiting. And then you'll want a couple pieces of paper towel because we're gonna dry off the pork. And then that way all of the flour will stick to it properly and it won't go really goopy. It smells so good. Pickle pork instead of pickle Rick. Pickle pork. This stuff. It's a bubbling. Yeah, maybe after 2 more glasses. I love it, guys. Love it. These are gonna make some interesting pieces of schnitzel, just saying. Yeah, you gotta plan ahead for that one. That is smelling good. This is the biggest piece that we have. It's nutso. I wasn't able to make it that thin, so I don't know how that one's gonna cook. I might have to finish it in the oven, just in case it starts to get too dark in the pan. But it should be nice and tender still, just because we brined it and pounded it out. To be honest, I've never done schnitzel with pork shoulder before. I've always just used pork loin, so this is new to me. Most of the recipes I have cooked have like been the first time that I've cooked that entire dish on its own. So I'm learning with you guys. I know, it's weird. But that's what Chili Balls wanted. So I'm gonna make it work. Okay, we're almost there. That's hilarious. All right, sir. You have a wonderful night. I'm off the next 2 days, so pop in on Sunday for our pizza party. Chili Balls will be in the stream. You guys can have some good chats. Yeah, I'll probably be starting around 3 my time, so PST. If not, though, I'll post an update. You know it. I'm gonna get him in here with me. Maybe even Mamacita, too. So, I'm gonna show you guys my breading station. It's all set up, ready to go. And then the pork is just chilling over here. That can dry off really nicely before you even start to bread. That's why I did that nice and early. Thanks, Monica. I think it will be delicious. Okay, so all of the wine is almost reduced, so now we can pour our cream in. You also don't have to make it a cream sauce. Like, you can just keep it a nice wine sauce. But I would do that, like, if you were searing pork in a pan, that's how I would make the sauce after, so that you get, like, all the really nice pork flavor from the bottom of the pan. This isn't gonna work the same for schnitzel today, just because it's breaded. And then this, I'm just gonna turn it down to really low. And then it will slowly reduce, and we'll check it for consistency, let's say in like 10 minutes. And then also, I just want to say, keep in mind if you're doing the veg like I am, you'll want to preheat your oven at least 20 minutes ahead of time to 425 Fahrenheit. We're gonna do a pretty high temp roast on it just to get some nice coloring on the outside. Especially with the mushrooms, because lots of people don't like the texture. So we'll get some nice brown flavor on the outside of there and roast the rosemary really nice. And it should all come together really well. If you want to, you can cut up the mushrooms after they're cooked to have them a little bit smaller, but that's definitely up to you. I'm just gonna clear my little area here, and then I think I'm gonna start breading the pork. Definitely takes up quite a bit of room here, but it's worth it. So I have my pork pan over here, and then I have a clean pan over here from when it's already breaded. And then I'm gonna go grab some gloves real quick so I don't have to get my hands all dirty. Let the games begin. Okie dokes. So just press it down. Get a really good even coating on the one side. Make sure it's all covered. Looks good. Shake it off. How's this side? It needs a little bit more. Okay, eggy time. That does not look good. That does not look good at all. And then into our crumbs. Cover it up. Give it a good press down. Flip it over. Make sure the other side's really good. You want to get it completely covered, because whatever meat is not covered is just going to burn when you fry it in the pan, so that's not good. That looks really good, guys. Laughing girl. I have a live audience here with me. Next piece. If your flour gets a little caked up, just give your pan a shake. What's up, Cooking Consulted? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Shake it off. I'm really pushing the limits here on my containers. And then the benefit to doing this a little bit ahead of time is that all of your crumbs are gonna stick onto the pork, but the outside's also gonna dry off. So that's how you get a really nice, I guess, fry on the outside of it compared to if it was still wet. That looks good. And I have 3 left. If your hands start to get gunky, just wipe them off into the garbage. How's she sleeping? To be honest, I don't really know how this little piece is gonna fry up, but we'll see. I just hope it doesn't really burn. How does it look? Good. Gotta get that approval. Trust the Germans. Yeah, it's gonna be super crunchy. I'm excited. Okay, 2 more pieces. And I'm also gonna say this one I think might be a little bit tough depending on how you eat it, just because I can see all of the meat grains going the one way. So that's just the one downfall to using pork shoulder, is it might be a little bit more tough than pork loin. But then it's also gonna be tastier because it's dark meat, so you gotta pick your battles. Yep, I won't dry out. Our sauce looks like it's just bubbling, so that's good. One more. This is a ton of pork. Probably only need like 3 pieces for 4 people. There should be. Did it not come up? Like, I have everything set up on Streamlabs. Thank you for the donation though, Stefan. I appreciate it so much. And yes, I'll definitely have to get some extra cherries in there for next Thursday, Thick Thursday. And I hope you have a good night. Thanks for stopping in again. You and your crazy jokes. Night night. That's you. You're Betty.
Betty?
Betty and Barry here with me. Always. Oh, man. Okay, that is our last one. Okay, done. Done with the mess. Now, if you want to reuse the breadcrumbs, if they're not like too clumped up with eggs, you can toss them in the fridge. They'll last for a week only. But if not, then just throw them out. You should be able to like not throw out that much if you measure the right amount. I was pretty on point with doing like about half a cup per piece. Here is our wonderful pork. It looks good. And so now I can start getting the pans out that I'm going to use to fry all of this wonderful stuff. And also give our sauce a little stir while we're at it. And I think I'm going to give it a taste at this point as well. Just to see where we're at. It's still nice and winey, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So we're not going to reduce that too much more because we want to keep that flavor in there. We don't just want to cook it all out. I'm going to use like the biggest pans that I have to fry this pork up. And I'm also going to switch my sauce to the back burner because it's a little bit smaller. It's all about making room up here. Stay nice and happy back there. And then I think I'm going to use this other pan. Should I do 3 at one time? I can do another small one on that side. Loud noises. Huh? No. Okay, I think that's a good setup. It's gonna get crazy over here in a bit. So I can pour some of the oil that we're gonna need into the pans. Probably do like a 1/4 inch in each one to start. I already said this is definitely not a healthy dish, so you guys can't get mad at me here. But it will taste so good. Then I'm gonna use grapeseed because it has a pretty high burning point or smoke point. But you could also do like mix in some olive oil if you want, or butter. Just those two have a lower smoke point, so don't turn your pan too high. hopefully that's enough. So now, I think we're just gonna chill out for a little bit. I haven't heard anything from my people yet about when they're gonna be home, or 5:30. Okay, so I can turn the oven on now then to preheat for our veggies. So let's do a convect bake if you have that option. At 425. We want a pretty high heat here to get a nice char on the broccoli. I mixed that, if you missed earlier, I mixed it with sriracha, olive oil, like a little bit of brown sugar for some caramelization, and some salt and pepper. I think that's gonna be really good. And then the mushrooms are just tossed with rosemary, olive oil, and salt and pepper. Really simple. And I also let those marinate for close to an hour now, I think. Just so the mushrooms absorbed all the flavor inside and it wasn't just stuck on the outside. And like I said, if you brine your pork like a day ahead of time, this whole dinner could probably be put together in 45 minutes. It's not hard at all. I just like taking the time with you guys to teach you the right way. While I'm waiting, I can get the plates out and stuff for dinner later on. Get myself ready. Put our cornflake advertisement away. I didn't know her bed was there. It's hilarious. Does anyone have any requests for me to make something in the upcoming weeks? I'm always down for taking requests. Give me some kind of challenge at least. Rinse out my cornflake blender. Dampfnoodle, yeah. Because we actually do have a pan with a good glass lid. We could do it. That'd be delicious. Mom would like it. I'm gonna write down this Black Forest cake in my planner so I don't forget. I don't want to get yelled at. Yeah, I'll explain it for everyone in a sec. So Dampfnudel is a German dish. Is it actually a dessert or more of like a breakfast item? I know I've only had it the one time and it was delicious. They are like little dumplings made out of dough. So I'm guessing it's like more of a rich dough. And then you put milk and sugar on the bottom of the pan and boil that.
Okay, I think
And then
I've
they
actually
puff
had
up.
that before.
Super, super good. So you make a caramel in the pan as the dumplings cook. And then it gets all crispy on the bottom and delicious. Main course. Oh yeah, and then you serve vanilla pudding with it.
That's a main course?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we had it for dinner one night.
yeah.
And then we just did like sausage and little
Okay.
snacks on the side.
Yeah, something savory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a fun one to make on stream. Writing it down. And then I also think I want to do a Taco Tuesday pretty soon, so that I can make the tortillas from scratch with the masa, the corn flour, and use my new little tortilla press. Because that was really fun using it for the pitas the other night. Yeah, that was a really good spatzel. The noodles were like this long. Like you could twist them onto your fork. That's how long they were. Really, really good ones. I think our sauce is almost there. I'm just gonna check the consistency of it right now. So what I was taught in school is the perfect sauce consistency should coat the spoon, that one's still dripping, and then if you run your finger through, the swipe should stay. So I think it needs just a touch more time, a couple minutes, and then we can shut that off. It'll be fine just sitting there. Hey Vaders, welcome. I'm doing really good today. How are you guys? I actually have a really good little story about a Schnitzel spot in London that I ate at. But you know what? I looked it up today and it's closed. So I don't know what happened to it, and I went back in 2014. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Boopshies. That was like my best schnitzel experience ever. Yeah. I know. I was so upset when I saw that it was closed today. I was gonna tell you guys to go there. It was seriously so good. Like, it was bigger than my head. We could do pierogies one day. That'd be good. What else Ukrainian? I know, so sad. And like the fried egg on top was so good. What's like a traditional meat that they usually do? We've never really done that kind of stuff Ukrainian yet.
I don't know, like, it's not so much about meat and
Both.
I'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll just stock the freezer up with pierogies and cabbage rolls forever. And then obviously French foods, that's like the basis of all cooking, so that wouldn't be hard for me to make something.
We should do pierogi Sunday fun day.
Yeah, we'll do pierogies on a Sunday fun day or night. That way everyone can get in on the action and it's not just me making all the pierogies myself. Even though all the little like babas and grandmas, that's all they ever do. Rouladen? I think I still have one of the mixes from you. I could use that. Yeah, imagine. I just start shipping out my food to people around the world. That'd be awesome. Okay, sauce is coming off. So this is up to you. If you don't love onions or have someone that doesn't really like onions, you can strain it. Because all the flavor is already into the cream. So that's what I'm gonna do. And that way it'll just be really silky and smooth compared to chunky onions. Eat it on stream. I love vindaloo. And I actually didn't do an Indian night flexered. I did a Thai night. So I'll pencil that in for a Tuesday and we'll do an Indian day. Maybe I'll make some samosas or something really fun. So the oven is telling me that the veg is ready to go in. Hey Rush, thanks for stopping by again. Day is going great so far. I'm just putting my veg in the oven to roast. How are you doing? And I'm just gonna set a 10-minute timer here so that I can rotate the trays halfway through. If you're just coming into the stream, here is the pork schnitzel that I just breaded earlier. Almost ready to fry. I'm just gonna strain my sauce right now. What do I want to strain it in? Maybe just a measuring cup? If you have a gravy boat, you can strain your sauce into that, but I'm just gonna use a measuring cup. That way it's easy to pour out after. You could also strain it into another pot or a bowl, whatever you desire. You know what? I just scraped my pan back out. So I'm just gonna pour the sauce back in. That way it'll stay nice and warm. Yeah, vindaloo. I know everyone's gonna have like a spicy butt the next day. Sorry. It's just a fact of life. Yum. Sauce goes in. Yum. So I also did not season this earlier, so I'm gonna do that now. That is crazy. That's actually one thing I've never ordered at like an Asian restaurant is their version of curry. So I'll have to do that. Because they always have like at least one curry on their menu, but I'm always just going for the other food. I love it. This combo is getting good now. Yum. That's some good sauce I made, guys. A little bit winey. It doesn't taste super rich, but you definitely get like the nice sweet onion flavor in it as well. And maybe a little bit of thyme, but not a ton. I think it'll go really well with the schnitzel. And I guess with the spicy broccoli. Okay, time is, where are we at? 5:25. Okay, I can start my pans up. These are going to go on medium heat. Nothing too high here. If you turn your heat too high, then you're just gonna brown the outside of the pork and not cook it completely. Got a little peek on our veg. They're looking good. It's almost time to get cooking. I respect people that eat like mass amounts of food. Are you though? I don't think so. You're just blessed that you can eat all of that and not be a fatty. That is awesome. I'm gonna look that up right now, actually. Oh, I'm for sure like the biggest fat kid inside. I'm always snacking. Pretty much just like a cow, grazing on all things all day. No! Chub life. So I just Googled it and the first thing that came up was insurance. Insurance for the chubs. All right. So, how do we know our oil's ready in the pan? It's gonna start to do like a little wavy dance. And that's when we know it's good to go. Night night, Marianne. Thanks for stopping in. Have a great night. So this guy is almost ready, and same with this one. The bigger one needs a couple more minutes. And my veggie timer is about to go off, so that was 10 minutes. And I'm just gonna rotate the trays now. The broccoli is gonna be on the top, so that will get the most crispy, which is what we're looking for. But it is looking really good so far. So steamy. Let's do 10 more minutes. And then that way we can kind of time our schnitzel out to go along with that timer. So that'll help us a lot. Because I think the schnitzel will only take, let's say 4 minutes aside. I'm just guessing that. But I pounded it pretty thin. And it's also okay if you cook it to like a medium well. You don't have to fully cook it. That way it'll stay nice and tender. So let's see what kind of sizzle we get here. Beauty. This is huge. Like, I don't even know if this is gonna fit. Push it in there. And then let's do a really big one in this pan over here. I'm gonna do this really thick guy first, because that'll take the longest to cook anyways. Those are huge. Who's gonna eat all that pork? The world. If you feel like your schnitzel is cooking too fast or browning too fast, just turn your pan down a little bit. So far, so good. Sure. Let's do our plate mise right now while our stuff is cooking. Do it. And then I thought it was a good time to like take out the fancy knives. Black on black on black. Then I'll just put all of the schnitzel onto this massive platter when it's cooked. Browning up really nicely already. I think my pan temperature is on point. The sizzle of the pans is entrancing me. So this guy looks like it's cooking the fastest. So I'm gonna flip that over. It makes sense though, because it was always also the smallest piece we had. Right? Like fried food, so good. And then I'm gonna try a little piece off of that one just to see where my seasoning is at. Because I don't know how salty the pickle brine made the pork schnitzel. So I might need to add a little bit of extra salt afterwards as well. Biggest piece, I would say that dog is gonna get the biggest piece.
Balls, berry balls?
Yeah, chili balls. I'm making this schnitzel for him pretty much. No, this will like feed us for a good 2 days. That would be disgusting. And I still have to go to the gym tonight after. But it is leg day, so I'll work it all off. Okay. You know when you can just like hear it cooking perfectly and you're like, yeah, it's time to flip. I just had that moment. Holy. minute more on that guy.
What, they give you road top or what?
Gotta keep it healthy somewhat. Okay, that looks perfect. Now I'm gonna add the other one to this back pan. It does look really good. I'm getting excited. But it's also starting to splash a bit, so I gotta do this. Sorry guys.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good?
Hi, Fam Jam.
I think we might need to add a little bit more oil to this back pan. It's actually kind of scary how much oil this stuff uses up. Lexter says, Sammy! Yeah, Sammy's home.
What's up?
And if you want it to be like super accurate on your cook, then always whip out your handy digital thermometer. We are good on that one too. Other side is browned nicely. Holy. Oh, it's fine. I'm just gonna tempt this other really big one before I check our veg. I'm going in the thickest part here. So a little bit of blood came out still when I took it out. It's at 140, so I would say max like 30 seconds more in the pan. And then that should rest really nice and come up to a good medium well. And I'm gonna just shut this little pan off. I'll do the other big piece in the big pan. Okay. So broccoli is looking awesome. It's like really nice and charred on top. Smells a little bit spicy and sweet. So that is definitely good to go. And then our mushrooms also have some really nice color on them. Just gonna poke it with my paring knife to make sure that they're nice and tender, which they are. So now I can just turn off the oven. That stuff will stay warm in there while I finish off the pork. Beauty. Try to not stack your schnitzel on top of itself either, because that's how it gets soggy. We don't want to steam it at all. says, huh? This guy is browned nicely, so I can flip that already. Once you get rolling, it really doesn't take long. Just the biggest thing is to keep your oil at a constant temperature. And that's our last piece. We're almost ready to eat. What do I want for that? Okay, that can just chill there. It's still hot. I'm gonna do a plate up in like a minute, you guys. It looks too good. You know what though? I'm gonna cut one of these in half just because it's like super obnoxious. And because I want to show you how perfectly I cooked it. Yum. Now we're cooking. Okay, let's do this. Those are good. And then I also just need to quickly slice a lemon up for garnish. I can't read that right now. And I will taste a piece of the pork in just a sec, because I want to have it perfectly seasoned before I give it to someone to eat. The back pan is going off now. And same with this front guy. Just by feeling it, I can tell that it's done. I got those feels. And then I think I'm just gonna spoon the cream sauce over the mushrooms and then let people dip their pork into it that way. So mix that all up. It might have a little film on top. I don't want to use anything metal in this pan, so I'm using this hilarious little spoon. Just because it's enamel. Don't want to scratch it at all. We're almost there. How does that look so far? Yeah, OCD for sure. Take the rest of these off. That one got a little bit dark, but that's okay. That is a pile of schnitzel. Holy smokes. I know, so far. So, I'm gonna take the piece of this one that I already cut a little bit off. And just cut off a bit here. And I'll show you my face while I taste it, just so you know I'm not lying. The pickle brine actually works so well. Like, it's not super sour, but you get a little bit of the spice flavor, and you can also tell that it tenderized the meat quite a bit. Because for pork shoulder, this is not tough at all. But I would say to add a little bit of salt on after, just to finish. It wasn't overly salty. We still have Maldon, or is that outside? So now I get to use my fancy salt, the Maldon, and I'm just gonna finish the pork with that. But for me not adding any seasoning at all, I would say that's pretty fab. And then it was also my choice to just leave the mushrooms whole as they were, just because they are so nice and fresh. But you can cut them up into quarters or however you want. Just get this Salt Bae in here. Aw, yeah. And that's it, guys. That's our little schnitzel dinner. That was really fun to make. It all came together really easily and fast. So, one way to elevate your schnitzel, put it into pickle juice of sorts. Yeah, gotta get that fancy salt. And thank you for joining us, Gmail. I haven't seen you in here yet. So, thank you all for joining me today on another episode of Cook with Kate. Happy, I lost my wine, but happy Thirsty Thursday. Stay thirsty, my friends. And I won't see you tomorrow or Saturday, but Sunday we are doing pizza party for Sunday Fun Day. And I'm gonna do a Roman style pizza with a 24-hour proof dough. So it's gonna be really delicious and hopefully authentic. Yeah. I haven't had pizza in like a month. I feel like I'm fading away. It's a tragedy. Okay guys, everyone have a really good night. I'll see you in a couple days. Vaders, maybe I'll catch you on a stream sometime in the next 2 days. Bye! Yay, Monica!